Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination for Thursday, the 11th day of August, 2022. Well, I hope you're having a good week. We just got back from the grocery store. We decided to go early. I move my keyboard out of the way here. It's nice to do it when it's earlier because it's cooler. It's either supposed to be 100 today or it's supposed to be, I don't know, at least in the 90s or something today. Maybe it's next week we're having the 100-degree weather again. I was hoping it would be over with, but no such luck. So I don't know. I just stay in the house when it gets to be triple digits. I don't go out till it cools off. Well, let's see. Last night was Maiden. Today is Mother. It's the full moon, full sturgeon moon. I believe it's a super moon too. It was huge last night. Looks like Alexa's talking in the living room. Oh, well, she's giving our notifications. Anyway, we have a package coming, so that's probably what she's saying. Anyway, we have an 11 energy for today. 11 numerology, that's a master number for awakening and enlightenment and spirituality. This is from the esoteric influences for today. She kind of got me all confused here, so I think I forgot to say that. We're going to start with the esoteric influences for Thursday. That's from the post that goes up on the blog on Saturday nights for the whole week. So anyway, is the rune for today. Is a as above so below rune. It's basically the connection between opposites or the link between realms. It's made up of lagus in a circular fashion, not even forward and reverse. Just if you were to turn it, it's going to be the same way. So it's like it's in a circular fashion. So it's basically the flow of spirit into everything. It's useful in trance work. It makes a very good connector rune and a bind rune if you're creating a bind rune for rune magic. And it also means protection. Populus is the geomancy rune for today, which basically is the passive side of, you got via on one side and populus on the other. Via would be the path and that you take directly on your own, and then populus is you're going along with the crowd, also means people. It's Jupiter is in Aries today. And we draw inspiration from spirit awareness during this master 11-day, and I'm going to allow Jupiter's influence to awaken you to a higher level of understanding. Jupiter's very expansive, but it's in retrograde right now, so we're going to talk, instead of outer expansion, it'll be inner expansion. However, if you feel as if you're spending all of your time taking care of others, you also might consider taking time for yourself as well. Sometimes we get drained from doing that, our energy does, and then suddenly we're without any kind of resources for ourselves. So make sure you take care of yourself before you take care of someone else. That way you've got the energy to do both. Although collaborative efforts with others can lead to a successful outcome with today's full moon in Aquarius, you also want to shine on your own. Just be sure to assert yourself in a manner that contributes positively to the process. So we'll move this out of the way, and we'll get started with today's rune for the reading. We're going to take the first one, the as above side from the Elder Futhark, and then the other one will be, the below side will be the Geomancy rune. Geomancy is an earth energy type of divination tool, whether you're talking ley lines or pendulum work or geomancy runes. It's that magnetic pull toward the earth that makes it the below side. Here we have Dagaz for today. One period ending and another beginning. It's an interesting rune. It's made up of a lot of different things. You can see short lagus in it, forward and reverse. You see Gebo. You see Kenaz in all directions. You see Isa. So it's a very, it's like you're standing on the precipice of something new. You're letting go of one period and a new period's beginning, or letting go of one set of perceptions and replacing them with new ones. It's that sort of movement on the above side today. Let's see what the the low side is. I'm going to throw down the 4 elemental geomancy runes and figure out what it is. Oh. Well, okay, so, or no. Yeah? Okay, same as the esoteric influences today, populace. So, again, there may be some collective feeling to the energy of Degas. Maybe you've been hesitant to collaborate with others, and now you're entering into maybe a more collaborative period. Maybe you might be able to look at it that way. But let's see. I've got a whole bunch of lavender blossoms here on the table. Let me get them out of the way so my mouse doesn't go across them. I had picked some yesterday, and I set them here on the table to put some in a little vase with my moonwort, and so and then I went to put the rest of them back to have them dry. And I came in here this morning and there's all this stuff everywhere. It's like, what is this? And I lit a candle and discovered what it was. So let's go ahead and shuffle just a little bit more. I think with the 11 energy, though, the 11 numerology for today, I think we're really talking about, when we talk about Degas. Oh, you know what I didn't do here before I take some cards? I forgot to show you Populous. There it is. Whereas Via would just be one, a string of single dots would be an active principle. This is a passive principle. So in a sense, you're kind of going along with the crowd, but that doesn't necessarily have to mean a bad thing where you're giving up your will to other people or anything. It's just that maybe you're less, self-directed or what have you, and a little more collaborative, I think, is how it kind of feels to me. So let's go ahead and take the first 3 cards. If we need more, we'll take them. Oh. Well, we have a run on cups, so emotions are an issue here today. The other one is fire, the fire element with wands. We have the 2 of cups, the 2 of wands, and the ace of cups. So I'm wondering... I'll go ahead and read them as they are, and then if we need to move them around to have them make a little more sense, then we can do that. But we start with the 2 of cups. We see a man reaching his hand toward the woman, kind of taking a step forward. You can look at this in terms of polarity. Instead of a couple, you can look at it in terms of polarity, the masculine or projective side of self versus the feminine or receptive side of self. There needs to be some healing. So either there's, because you see the winged sun above in the caduceus, 2 is about balance. It's also about healing. It's about love, reciprocity, balance. So it seems to me that either, you could even look at this as a Degas situation too, couldn't you? Where you're letting go of something that was maybe causing a problem, and you're reaching out to someone in healing to heal the situation. In terms of Degas, then you're letting go then, as I said, whatever was happening, and you're replacing it with something else, with maybe a more compassionate perspective towards someone or toward a situation. Or even an inner work of where you need to find a little bit better balance polarity-wise. Sometimes we, again, get out of balance. We saw that with the esoteric influences for today. About if you're spending all of your time taking care of others, you might also consider taking time for yourself as well. That could be the masculine or projective side of self taking care of others, the receptive or feminine side taking care of yourself. But I think that there has to be some initiation here with the man here, the projective side of self here. So if there's an issue you have with somebody today, maybe you are the one who needs to initiate the the return to grace, maybe the return to balance with that person. Either if there was an argument you had, maybe you need to be the one to initiate the apology, or to try to, find some kind of reconciliation there with the other person. But there is that sense of taking some initiative to do that with the masculine side, with the man stepping toward the woman and reaching out. I mean, realistically, if you look at it from the standpoint of the rune Gebo, you're looking at balanced energy exchange here with the two. There's also that, I think. Here we have another expression of the two, though. It's almost like we're in a portal or a doorway. And in a sense, if you look at here in between the two cups, you kind of have a sense of that too, a doorway to healing. Well, here you have a doorway to opportunity. You see a man of means holding a globe in his right hand and a staff in his left. He has this one kind of setting atop. He's like high up on a. I don't know what that's called when it's up above the top of the castle, or maybe at the top of maybe a bridge or something. It could be that too. But you see one staff is affixed. You can see it affixed right there to the wall. But in a sense, and he's looking out over a body of water, but in a sense, what he's doing is he's choosing his opportunities for the future. You look at the Three of Wands, you're going to see a similar thing, only I believe he's turned in the other, he's not facing this way, he's facing this way, and he's looking out over the body of water again, and there's some ships there, so it's like he's waiting for his ship to come in. So whatever decision, two is also about decisions, whatever decision he made in terms of opportunities in this card will be manifested or will come to fruition in the following card, the Three of Wands. So, but right at this point, once you heal the polarity within, or you heal something that's some conflict, maybe in your personal life, maybe you're having a struggle between you and a partner who you're trying to make a decision maybe about another job, or you're going to make some changes there. Maybe the partner hasn't been on board or something, and maybe there was some concerns that person had, and you've come to some kind of a resolution there with the other Two of Cups, and now you can go out and choose the opportunity that you want to have for your future. But that's really, when you see him holding the globe, really anything is possible there. So if we look at this in terms of decision making, with the Two of Cups, we have the decision to heal. It's either the polarity within, or something about a relationship you have with someone else. The other two is about the decision you make when you go and choose your future. What kind of opportunities are you going to have to choose from? And I typically that's career. So some kind of something that's going to result in some material security. The fire element, which is wands, is sort of about life force and creativity and something new on the horizon, basically. And then we have the Ace of Cups. We see the Dove of Peace putting realistically, it's a disc with a cross on it, but it's this sort of cross here, which is the energetic. It's really the energetic pathways that we take in form. Here would be the masculine and feminine on the horizontal plane, and then here we have the vertical axis where it's spirit infusing into form. And typically we're somewhere down here because we get pretty reactive, and we forget that we're spirit, we forget we're souls, and we function from the level of ego. When realistically we ought to be right here, where the horizontal axis and the vertical axis of experience or of energy flow are in complete balance. And here we have that with the Ace of Cups. We see a hand reaching out from the clouds, holding a golden chalice. we see the waters of life, the waters of emotional presence or emotional genesis spilling out over the cup into the lily pond below. See all the lily pads there. When my first grandchild was a little girl, when she was born in 2017, we had put some. I mean, we've done this several times, but there's catfish and there's ducks in the pond, and so you just never know. They would never grow. I put lilies in the pond, and I put different colors in that time, and the day she was born, the white lilies bloomed. It was just amazing. It was like, wow, look at what just happened. And I mean, of all the ones that I wanted to bloom, and they were right there in front of this little area I have. It's a little secluded area to go out and sit in meditation in and all of that. And it was right there. It was just gorgeous. I've took pictures of it. But then the following year, I think we might have had a couple that bloomed. But after that, they just died out, or the fish came along, or the frogs came along and they ate the roots off of them or something. But we just haven't had good success with lilies, so we just stopped buying them. I mean, what's the point, right? But this always reminds me of that. But I think realistically, either we can put this in the center of the twos and put the 1, 2 on each side. So you come into better either a position of healing or reciprocity with someone else, or you balance the polarity within, the masculine and feminine or projective and receptive side of self. That presence within, you get a little bit better balance of than what you've had. Then you're able then to, with the ace, now the ace is again the genesis. It doesn't matter which suit it is, but in this it's the genesis of emotion or emotional presence. So maybe we could actually start with it first. I just like visually having and I think we had this on where is that? Did we have that on? No, we didn't. It might have been on the week before, where we had 2 10s on the side of something else. I like that visually because there's a certain level of balance here. And when you look at Degas, you're looking at, you could be looking at inner and outer experience, and that's what you're looking at here with the twos, the decisions that you need to make from a new standpoint of emotional presence. There has to be emotional component to the 2 decisions that are made today, is how I think I'm going to read this. And in fact, we could put it with the Ace of Cups maybe above, kind of in a triangular type of a thing. We could do that. Why don't we do that? And then that way we know that from a new emotional standpoint, a new emotional presence, new emotional understanding, maybe we can do it that way. Understanding is part of emotions as well. So then we create a new level of understanding, which allows us to either heal something with a partner. We make the decision to heal that. And then we also make the decision to go and pursue new objectives and new opportunities. With populace, then, instead of looking at it as doing something collaborative with other people, unless you want to look at it here, you could look at it that way, with maybe with the 2 of cups. The other way to look at it is dropping resistance. And I think when you do that, sometimes when you drop resistance, opportunities just come to you. You know, they do that. They say that in human design about the generator personality. Most people are a generator personality. I am. My husband's a manifesting. No, he's a manifester, actually, not a manifesting generator. Our oldest son is a manifesting generator, and our youngest is a generator. But the generators are the workhorses of humanity, basically. But what they have to do is they have to wait to be asked. They have to wait for things to come to them. If they try to initiate, then it doesn't always work out. So if you're in, and you basically feel like you're I always feel like I want to say something, and then if I do and I haven't been asked, then it doesn't always go very well. And so if I wait for someone to ask my opinion, then it's better received than if I simply initiate something. And so whereas my husband, being a manifester, he's somebody that needs to initiate. For his best results, but for me, I have to wait to respond, wait to be asked. And but there's a component to that here, in terms of your decision making. The decision to heal may be more of a manifester side, and the decision to look for new opportunities may be more of a generator type of experience. So if any of you are aware of listening, are aware of human design, you know what I'm talking about here. It's a really cool thing. The second paragraph of my esoteric influences is taken from the human design chart for each day. And I find it to be really, really fascinating. Maybe even it uses it basically blends the each I Ching position. Basically, you've got 64 hexagrams, and then there's 6 lines per one, and there's an interpretation for each line. Well, each line appears around the what would look like an astrological chart. They're combined with the planetary positions for the days, for each day, and each time, and all of that, just like you would in a regular astrology chart. It's just with this, you're looking at I Ching, and it's just fascinating. And I find it's just, I don't know, it's so spot on. It's kind of scary, but anyway, I like to combine the two when I do the esoteric influences along with runes and the numerology for the day, to try to come up with some complex thing that I just find that there's so many things that the different esoteric things, systems out there have to offer, and I do the same thing here, where I'm pulling different modalities together. I do the same thing with the esoteric influences. So human design is cool. You should look at it if you haven't. You might be surprised. You might really draw you in. It did me, and I don't know. So. But there's a feeling of balance here, that if you get your emotions in balance, then you're able to then go out and feel more confident about the decisions you have to make about the future. If the emotions are in flux, then your heart's not really in it, right? You're not really sure what to do. And again, with the Two of Cups, it could simply mean that in a partnership situation, in a marriage or what have you, the other person maybe is not quite as on board with what you want to do, and there's some emotions that are coming up about it. Maybe there's some fear, especially if they don't know if the job you want to take is going to actually help sustain the family, or if it's going to be something that's might be fun to do, but it's not really going to provide you any real material security. So there could be some concerns like that, where there's a little bit of conflict between you and your partner, and some emotions are coming up about that, and you need to heal some of that. But all too often, I think a lot of this stuff represents what's going on inside you. If you're not feeling emotionally sure about something, then it's very hard to go out and have that confidence to go and look for a new job, or a new experience, a new career, maybe even new opportunities. You just don't. Your heart's not in it until you get that better balance between within your own emotional state. So. Or it could be that your emotional state is pushing you toward making a change, where again, you're in a job where your heart just isn't in it. Emotionally, you don't really align with everybody there, or enough people there. You don't feel safe or secure, maybe, in that environment. You don't feel appreciated, maybe. But so there's an emotional quality to whatever is going on here. And again, it can take different forms. It could just simply come down to, and it's not an inner thing with the Two of Cups, that there needs to be some healing and understanding between you and a partner, that has maybe been lacking. And once you have that, then you're able to then go out and feel more emotionally secure when you're making your choices for new opportunities out there that you want to go and look for. So, and again, maybe your partner is feeling a little fearful about change. And because a lot of us do, where we don't really, something new is going to happen and you don't know what to expect. You don't know if it's going to be good, bad, or indifferent. And so you kind of live in that fear. And so maybe there needs to be that sort of a conversation between you and a partner. So again, making the decision to heal and making the decision to go and pursue new opportunities. With the genesis of new emotional awareness, maybe that's what this is. Maybe it's purely an individual reading and it doesn't involve anyone else. Once you heal all of that within, then you have the ability to go out and search for new opportunities. And realistically with Degas, then it really does illustrate the ending of one phase or one emotional level of emotional awareness, and then moving on into something new with Degas. So I think we're doing okay on time here. But in this case, I think populace, we're just going to look at that energetically instead of looking at it as the people or the crowd or following the crowd or something like that. I think we're just going to look at that as dropping resistance to healing, and dropping resistance to any fear you might have to be able to pursue something new. Well, that's interesting. One of the first days we haven't had any major arcana cards or any court cards. There's just been way too much of that, hasn't there been? Especially with the court, it's like, oh geez, not again, not another page. I've had so many pages lately. It's like, well, all right. But again, there's a lot of, this is a period of undeveloped potential. And with the Master 11 numerology for today, it really is about awakening and enlightenment, and seeing things from a soul perspective versus being caught up in the ego of it all. When you do that, then it just seems like the opportunities are endless, versus when you live in fear, and you can't really move out of that. You're too afraid to do anything else. You're too afraid to take that new job. Or you're too afraid to start that new relationship or something like that, or make that move to another home or what have you. But today, I would say with this Jupiter energy, it's about decisions, and the decisions that you need to make within to be able to then move into a better space. So anyway, I think that's it. I think we did it. I get I bought 2 new tarot decks, and they're both Rider-Waite, but they look one's black and white and one has kind of a rose color to it. It's just, that's all it is. And so you don't have the same definition here color wise that you have with this particular deck. So it's going to be interesting reading them. But I was drawn to them and I thought, ooh. And so I ordered them and they should be here tomorrow. So depending on how I feel about them, I might use them next week in next week's readings, or I may not. I may wait a while. I love these. This particular deck, it doesn't have any borders to it, which I like, and very similar in that regard to the Morgan Greer. I really like the Morgan Greer. I should use it more. I don't use it at all here. Once in a while I do, but usually I don't. I really like that one though, but it's a little bit of a departure from the Rider-Waite. And I don't know. I kind of prefer Rider-Waite style decks for this particular reading. The other ones, the Heimdall, I love it. It's really cool. The Wildwood is very cool. But again, they're non-traditional, and so you have to kind of understand where the author is coming from, and so it takes a little bit more of consideration when you're doing a reading with them, because you hate to miss some of the, especially the Wild Unknown, or not the Wild Unknown. That's a different one. The Wildwood deck. The Wildwood deck is the Wild Unknown is really different. But the Wildwood deck is very Celtic and very Druid-like, and it's you're basically in the Wildwood, and if you don't read it from that, you miss the sort of pagan flair to it all. And I love that deck. And the nice part about Heimdall is you've got runes on them and astrological glyphs and stuff. And then on the small cards on the minor arcana, you have hexagrams. And so that is, again, a multi, dimensional type of a reading experience. And I really like that too. I like that a lot. And I love what he's done as far as the cards go. And then, of course, there's the Toth deck. That's just really, Crowley's deck is very cool. Total departure from all of this, though. And again, you have to understand where they were coming from. He and Lady Frida Harris, when they did the deck, you have to understand where they're coming from on it. And it's a very hermetic type of a thing. And when you're doing those kind of readings, it sort of takes you into other dimensions of thinking that are esoteric, and I really like that, and so I'm drawn to those. But for here, it makes more sense to use a Rider-Waite deck, and so the two I got are definitely Rider-Waite decks, but the colors are not the same. There's no defined color other than black and white in the one, and then a rose color throughout. The drawing is the same, but the background is not. So that's kind of interesting, and it kind of gave me an emotional feeling when I read it, and I thought, well, that's interesting. I need to look at that deck. So I bought that one too. So we'll see. I'll show them to you on Monday and see what you think about them. But I don't even know how. I'm gonna have to count them. I don't even know how many tarot decks I have. It's just I have a whole bunch. So, but I really, really like this one for to do these readings with. So I'll continue using this one. I love the colors that they're using. There's a lot of grays and a lot of blues, and I really like that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. Stay cool if you can. One thing I've learned is to wet a towel down and take one of those clippy things from the kitchen and just put it around and clip it, and I stay cooler. I don't know. My husband was doing it, and I thought, there's something to think about. And so I tried it, and it was very cool. Our hops are ready, and I was out picking them yesterday, and I had one of those on, and I felt much better. He still needs to get up high, and because they grow up over the entrance to the herb garden, and plus on the cross fence, they're up high. So we have an 8-foot cross fence there to keep the deer out. And so I've got hops growing on that fence too. So anyway, they're gorgeous. The chickens really like them too, so we give some to them. The rest of them I use for teas and tinctures and stuff. So anyway, that's enough. You guys have a good day, good week, good weekend. Enjoy the full moon tonight. The crone phase is tomorrow. That's my phase. So, but I'll be out, and I got some pictures yesterday of Maiden. I'll get some tonight of Mother, and I'll get some tomorrow for crone. And maybe I'll put them up over there on the blog. And all of the places I'm at, all the website address, all of that. The website for Stepping Aside is imsteppingaside.com. You can click on Show More and scroll down past the description of what this is, and and you'll find some links down below that. So if you forget the address for Stepping Aside, it's right there. Otherwise, you can just Google Stepping Aside, and it should come up. But check that out if you like. I'd love you to do that, and click subscribe here and give it a like if you would, and come back on Monday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.